Manchester United have a centre-back problem. By centre-back problem, I think we have great players. I think De Ligt is great. I think Leach is phenomenal. His passing is phenomenal when fit. I like Maguire. I think Yoro is a generational talent. I think Aiden Heaven could go very far. I think we've got 5 really good options. But 2 of them are very young and inexperienced. One of them could be leaving at the end of the season, and the other 2 are injury prone. And the question is, do Man United need to look at signing a centre-back in the summer? I'm going to ask you that down below because we've got more blows coming out in regards to Lisandro Martinez. We've got news coming out that United are going to make a move for a young Real Madrid talent, which is particularly interesting news. I think one area the club has done very well with in recent years is signing good young players from other clubs. We found the likes of Aiden Heaven. We found the likes of, from Arsenal, we found the likes of Alvaro Fernandez from Real Madrid all those years ago, and then we never utilised him. We kept Malacia and sold Alvaro, which is looking like a silly decision. And look, Man United and Bournemouth and Brighton are among teams looking at some Real Madrid youngsters, and I think that would be smart. We're going to talk about Yan Diomande. It looks like Man United are very serious about Yan Diomande. He seems to be a very serious target for us. He's also been linked to Liverpool, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. But I think it could be between Man United and Liverpool for Yan Diomande. It seems serious. Marcus Rashford, Barcelona might not buy him now. Some sources say they've already brought him. Who knows? Could Marcus Rashford come back? What would happen if Barcelona didn't buy Rashford? We're going to talk about Man United's worst signing ever. We're going to talk about more news on Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes, and of course, Seny Lamons. And I tell you what, watching that Kinski performance in the Champions League, he got subbed off within 15 minutes because he made 2 mistakes. It makes me appreciate Seny Lamons even more. It was giving me Anana vibes. Actually, you know what? That's disrespectful to Anana. Anana was better than Kinski, but we'll talk about that. But listen, people, let's dive into the news and the stories. This is your 10-minute Manchester United news roundup. If you do enjoy today's video, please do hit that like button. You're welcome to subscribe if you're new. I'm filming this at halftime in the Champions League games. Let's get into it. Lisandro Martinez is expected to miss Manchester United's game against Aston Villa after taking longer than initially hoped to recover from his calf strain. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't want us to rush Leach back. If it means him missing an extra game and we don't rush him back and we get him for the rest of the season, brilliant. I like Leach, I don't want to sell him, but I am concerned with his injury record. He was only meant to be out for 1 game. He's been out for 4 or 5. We've got big breaks between games. We're playing 1 game a week. I know it's not his fault, but it's another injury, and we miss him massively when he doesn't play. We did really miss him in the Newcastle game, his passing, his ability. But it is becoming a problem. Sandro Martinez was expected to be back last week. He's now not going to be back for this game. De Ligt was expected to be out for literally a couple of weeks, and De Ligt hasn't been seen since November. De Ligt's ended up being out nearly all season. It is really, really concerning. And I saw this stat here. Martinez has played 42% of Premier League minutes available since he was signed, equivalent to 16 games per season. Can't question his impact when fit, but simply he isn't reliable enough to build anything with. I'm starting to think that. And the other day I was saying I wouldn't sell him. And I wouldn't sell him unless it was a good price, because I think he's more valuable than Mount. I think Mount is good when he's fit, but I think Mount doesn't get in our best starting 11 when fit, whereas I feel like Leach when fit does get in our best starting 11. And I think it's getting to the point where you do go, if someone puts in a decent offer for Leach, you might have to look at it, because we've got De Ligt that's injury prone, Leach that's injury prone. De Ligt was injury prone at Bayern, but actually was all right last season. Like, there are 2 best centre-backs, but we can't rely on that. And I'm starting to think, because I actually this morning named the 5 signings I wanted Man United to make, which is one of Tonali or Anderson as the first, Mateus Fernandes of West Ham of the second, and João Gomez a depth signing in midfield for the third. Nathaniel Brown at left back, because we really need a left back. Some people say Alphonso Davies, but he's another leecher with injuries. And then I said maybe Njai at left wing. Again, Yan Diomande is an option there. But I think we need a 6th option at centre-back, just for depth. Whether you get Senesi on a free, whether you get someone for 20 million, I don't think we necessarily need to spend huge there. I think other areas are definitely a bigger priority. But I think we need someone with relative experience that is good on the ball, that's just reliable to get us to the end of the season, because we're having so many issues at the back. And it is worrying, especially with De Ligt. De Ligt's not coming back anytime soon when we thought he would be. It's just worrying. But let's dive into other news. So Manchester United might be doing a raid of Real Madrid's Castilla. This come out from Dia Rosea, Spanish sources close to Real Madrid. They said that we're scouting Real Madrid's Castilla for cheap young talent. So is Bournemouth, so is Brighton. We know Bournemouth and Brighton have done really well with some of the young talents they've signed. Obviously, Bournemouth with Krupi recently. Bournemouth obviously got Hoyson as well. You look at Brighton and the amount of young talents that they've had, And Man United are doing a little bit of Brighton and Bournemouth and looking at these top young talents. Of course, it's harder to be a top young talent, come to Man United, get the minutes, get the opportunities, thrive. You're under a lot more pressure. Whereas if you're a young talent, you go to Brighton or Bournemouth, you have a little bit of pressure off you to develop maybe more naturally. But Manchester United, one area I feel like we've done really well in is obviously the youth. It is the youth recruitment. So I look at it and I say, I still think it's really important we do this. I think it's important that we get 5-6 signings that are ready to go into the first team. But we've got our Diego Leons, we've got our Sekou Kones. But in the past, we went and found the Harry Amasses, the Alvaro Fernandezes, who's obviously at Real Madrid now, the Aiden Heavens. And I look at rating Arsenal for Aiden Heaven and Obe. I look at how we rated Madrid for Alvaro, who we never even gave a chance to. And I think if we can look at Castilla and find the next best full team 15-year-olds, I think it will be really beneficial for Manchester United, because I think that's the one area of scouting that we've done well. I think we've done really well at picking out the best young gems. I think our academy is particularly special, and even though a lot of the players in our academy won't make it at Man United, they'll make it as good Premier League players like James Garner. But I think the recruitment we've done in the academy has generally been pretty good. Aiden Heaven's obviously the obvious one that I'm happy with, but Alvaro was great recruitment. We just didn't make the most out of it. Talking of recruitment, we're looking to recruit a left winger. We've been linked to Yan Diomande many times. Our scouts have been watching Yan Diomande and all of his games, and he's continuing to score. And there's definitely that concern that I have purely off the basis that, like, Bundesliga wingers, they come to the Prem and their stats are never the same, and he's really young. And you look at where he was playing, just a year ago, and just, how this season is so abnormal to previous seasons. But then you look at the fact that he's 19, how he was good at AFCON, how he's only going to get better. 19 with 10 goals and 4 assists in the Bundesliga. Yan Diomande is one of those where he could be the next big flop or he could be the next big thing. Now, I like Yan Diomande, and if we get him for 50 million, I'd take it. But when we're hearing stuff like 80 million for a guy that's had his first good season in the Bundesliga, whereas we know what's happened with Sancho when he's come over, I have a few concerns. I would almost like to see Yan Diomande have one more season in the Bundesliga to see how he does over 2 seasons, to make sure that he's improving and this isn't just a one-off breakout season, that next season he goes to the next level before making a move for him. But then I'm also like, well, we need a left winger now. It's a difficult one. I would rather maybe go with someone in Jai that's a little bit more experienced. But Sully's very credible. He's got good information in around the club, and he has confirmed that Yan Diomande is definitely one to watch. Andy Mitten. Andy Mitten is one of the best United journalists in the space. There's rumours that Man United are going to agree to basically alternate the structure of the Rashford deal so Barcelona can afford it, Some sources say Barcelona don't want to do the deal. Others say the deal's basically done. Andy Mitten basically just said in regards to this that if Barca do not do the deal, if Barca do not activate the 30 million option for Rashford, then Rashford will return. United aren't going to negotiate. United aren't going to let him go to Barcelona for 20 million. They want 30 million. If they don't do it, Rashford returns, and we believe that because he's been good in La Liga, other clubs will go in for him. It's very unlikely that Rashford will play for us again because of wages, because of finances. And also, I think they just know his head's not at the club. Even though Carrick likes Rashford, the new manager may want him back. We're short on the left wing. It's basically been said that if Barcelona want to muck about and not pay 30 million, Rashford can come back. I'm sure other clubs will pay 30 million for him. So Barcelona, you better hurry up and pay up, which is a fair stance. The problem is Rashford could reject everyone and force his move to Barcelona, a bit like Garnacho did with Chelsea. Continuing on as well, we were talking about Jadon Sancho, how he's going to leave in the summer, how United obviously are not going to renew the deal. Now, what else is coming out in regards to this is that Jadon Sancho's time at United cost the club 138 million in transfer fees and player wages. He had 3 loans. He barely did anything for us. He had a strop because he got benched because he wasn't training hard enough, and then refused to play and was sat at Xbox at night while Man United were playing games under Ten Hag. And we could have used him because Anthony was absent for a little bit when that whole thing was going on with his ex. He's definitely the worst signing ever. I hate it when people put Paul Pogba in top 5 worst Man United signings ever. I'm like, F off. Paul Pogba was decent. Yes, he cost a lot of money, left on a free. But look at Anthony, look at Sancho, look at Sanchez, look at Onana, look at Højlund. I think Sancho is our worst signing ever. Let me know down below who you think our worst signing ever is. And then, yeah, there's more reports saying that we admire Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes. Again, I've said many times, I'd love them. Difficult to do business with Newcastle. Will they want to leave? And then Rich Fay said that one of the reasons that Man United chose Le Mans over Martinez was because they analysed key performance metrics and Lemons is rated higher for his shot-stopping ability, and he was strong at claiming crosses, and he made fewer mistakes than Martinez, which I thought was really interesting, especially seeing the Spurs mistakes in the Champions League. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching. Bye.